Welcome to Race Day Nation. Hi, I'm Rob D'Amico. After a big weekend of racing, we'll recap the NASCAR Cup Series race from Atlanta Motor Speedway, or should I say Atlanta Super Speedway. We'll get into your thoughts coming up here in a second, and you'll get mine as well. That's why we have the show, because I have an opinion, and they all stink, so I'm giving them to you. Plus, we'll recap the F1 season opener for Bahrain, and you might be surprised to see who didn't grab points in that race. INDYCAR at Texas Motor Speedway, the 12 hours of Sebring, and the NASCAR XFINITY and Truck Series races from Atlanta Motor Speedway as well. Plus, we'll discuss the latest news from around the world of racing. I did not introduce Michele today because Michele is taking some time off. His mom is not doing well, so our thoughts and prayers go out to Michele and his family. Hopefully, we got good news coming back with a recovery, but I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look good. So our thoughts and prayers are with Michele. But the show must go on, and that's what we're doing. Don't forget, you could check out some of the show on our website, RaceDayNation.com. You could check that out. You could see that on the website. We have the video and the audio version of the show. So no matter how you want to listen to it or watch the show, you can do that. Again, go to RaceDayNation.com, where you're also going to find stories pulled in from Racer and Motorsport.com and also TobyChristie.com. So some of a few news outlets that are on the website as well. Again, that is RaceDayNation.com. Here are Race Day Nation's top 3 headlines for the week. F1 makes a statement over last year's final race and championship between Verstappen and Hamilton when mistakes were made. So we'll get into what all that means and what they're saying. Plus, Jackie Chan, DC Racing, to enter IMSA in 2023. So we'll talk about what they're doing now and what they plan on doing for that. And speaking of 2023, NASCAR and Hendrick Motorsports have announced their intention to compete in the 2023 24-hour of Le Mans as a special Garage 56 entry. And what does that mean, Garage 56? Well, we'll talk about that coming up later on in the show. Also, you can follow us on social media. Please do, at RaceDay Nation. And you can also follow me at Rob D'Amico. That's ROBDAMICO, which you can see right here in the corner. You can get that right there. And again, please follow along because I use mostly the Rob D'Amico one. I will do some stuff with Race Day Nation, but you can check those out. Follow us on social. It's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that great stuff. We got you covered. There's no doubt. All right, so we're going to talk about Atlanta Motor Speedway and what are calling the Atlanta Super Speedway now that we have almost like pack racing and the draft comes into play. We also see that it's a very smooth track, except for what comes out of turn 2 there. You get a few bumps right there. There's also a few characteristics in 1 and 2, and then you get 3 and 4 is a little more smoother, but the track's more narrow. You have a bottom groove and a top groove, basically. I thought, listen, what Atlanta did in such short time and got this turned around, and here we are racing in March, which is great for Atlanta. The crowd was incredible. I haven't seen a crowd like that in many years, and I haven't been to the track in a while. But either have the fans, to be honest with you. But these are guys and girls that families that showed up in droves at this race. They camped out. There were campers everywhere. It was really nice to see. I'm going to be honest with you. The weather was perfect. Friday sucked. Obviously, whenever NASCAR comes to Atlanta, there's always rain that somehow ruins one of the days. Usually it happens on Sunday, and that's where these crowds just get hammered. And listen, it turned out to be a great weekend, and they showed up. It does show that NASCAR and Atlanta care. I mean, they wanted to be here. They wanted to see this race. So that was nice to see, and I got to see some old friends. I talked about we met up with some of the RCR crew members and the pit road guys, and we got some information on the tire and what the problems were and what they were having and what they were trying to fix. I got some great pictures to show you that. But first, I want to start recapping the NASCAR Truck Series race, which this is one of those races where I thought, I wasn't sure what to expect. Then they started the pack racing. Then all hell broke loose. You had a couple of big ones in there and some big wrecks. But so let's take a look at the NASCAR Truck Series results. Corey Heim got the win. Congratulations to him on that new surface, which was kind of cool. Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, Chandler Smith, Zane Smith, Stuart Friesen, Ryan Preece, Tanner Gray, Derek Kraus, and Austin Wayne Self round out the top 10. What does your points look like in the NASCAR Truck Series? You had Chandler Smith on top. He is our points leader right now. Tanner Gray, Ty Jetski. Sorry, I keep saying jet ski like I'm going to get on a jet ski. Maybe I'm thinking of the summer when I can lose my weight and get into my old bikini. Ain't happening. Stuart Friesen was fourth in points. Ben Rose fifth. Kristen Eckes was sixth. Austin Wayne Self was seventh. Eighth was John Hunter Nemechek. Ninth, Zane Smith. As you can see, Matt Crafton round out your top 10 in the NASCAR Truck Series. So what happened in the Xfinity Series? A little bit of the same. You had the unknown there. Those guys racing back and forth and beating and banging and catching the draft, and that pack racing kept the cars bunched up. See what happens is sometimes at the super speedways, like those 2.5 plus miles, like a Talladega or a Daytona, you get the cars spread out a little. You do get some pack racing, but eventually they start to spread out a little bit. Sometimes they get single file, and you did see that a little bit in the Cup Series race, but it wasn't too long that they rode it out a little bit, and then they got back in their big packs. But the difference is you have 2.5 miles there, so you can spread out a little bit, and you can get in that line. On 1.5 miles, it's a little bit different. You are trying to get that position. We never seen that many passes for the lead, which was cool. Now, it's not the exact passing we're looking for. You have to have a push. You have to, get that momentum built up, if you will, like drafting, like the pack racing, and get up to the front. So it was a little difficult to see, but in the Xfinity Series, we also saw that the big crash as well. There was going to be these big ones, even on a smaller track like this with the 1.5 miles at the speeds these guys are going in that pack racing. So let's take a look at the Xfinity results right now. Ty Gibbs was your winner. Congratulations to him, on a roll right now. That kid is phenomenal. And, he catches a lot of grief like Austin Cindric did because of the name and where he comes from. And this is obviously Joe Gibbs' grandson. So he's always in the best car, and people always give him crap about being in the best car. But listen, he's in that position for a reason. If his grandfather didn't think he could pull it off, guess what? He's not going to move him up the ranks because that's not going to bring sponsorship to the car. Now, I know Grandpa's a smart man. He ain't going to spend his own money putting his grandson in. He may do it for fun and get him kickstart him a little bit, but he's got to get those big sponsors behind him, and this kid can pull it off, obviously, and get to the front with good equipment. Austin Hill was second. A.J. Allmendinger was third. Riley Herbst was fourth. Landon Castle, fifth. Mason Masi was sixth. Brandon Jones was seventh. Kyle Weatherman was eighth. And Sheldon Creed and Ryan Sieg round out your top 10. And I felt bad for Ryan because Ryan was running up front at his home race. He is from Atlanta, literally in Atlanta. This kid deserves to be a winner here in Atlanta, his backyard. I thought he was going to pull it off so damn close. Would have been a very proud moment for him and his entire family from here. And I know those guys really wanted it bad. He just, once you got out, it's like Talladega and Daytona. He got split. They put him in the middle, and whoosh, they went by him on each side, ended up luckily finishing in the top 10. So what does that do for points for the Xfinity Series? Noah Gragson is still your points leader. Ty Gibbs right there on his tail in second. A.J. Allmendinger third. Justin Allgaier is fourth. Josh Berry is fifth. We haven't heard much from him lately. I thought we'd be hearing a little bit more from him. Brandon Jones, sixth. Daniel Hemrick is seventh. Austin Hill is eighth. Riley Herbst, ninth. And Ryan Sieg, the hometown boy, he is in your top 10 in the Xfinity points. So congratulations to those guys. Now, I did go out to the track, and I did see some of the guys out there, and I mentioned, you saw the track look beautiful on TV, the new pavement, everything was painted nice, and it was really nice. I got to be honest with you, standing on the front stretch by the flag stand and all that, got to go walk the track a little bit, really nice. There were some characteristics that you saw, how narrow it did get. They changed that. The front was pretty wide, so you get a little bit wider racing there, which is pretty good for a start finish when these packs start coming around that turn 4. But what I thought was really neat was some of the guys were talking about the tires, and we've had this discussion on this show before about the new tire versus the old tire. The old tire there on the left, the new tire on the right. You can see the center lug or the 5-pattern lug on the old one. What we didn't explain very well is the other side of the tire, which has the multiple holes that when you put the hub on, you see that in the center. That's what they're saying. The hub itself, the bigger circle in the center there, the black dot, that is basically what goes on that hub. And those outer circles with the tiny circles in it, those line up about 6 different studs that are supposed to lock up in there. That way you know you got the tire on. The problem is the center isn't cut properly. It seems to be a little snug when you're trying to really get going and do it fast. And those lugs aren't getting in, or the pins, I should say, aren't getting into the smaller circles. And that is what's causing the problem there. So thanks to our RCR guys and letting us take some pictures out there and getting those shots for you to kind of explain what's going on. And again, this show is built for you guys to interact with. We will soon be going live. We thought we'd be going live now, but with the issue with Michelle's mother and the time off he needs, we're going to hold off on that. And, again, thoughts and prayers are with him and his family on the situation. But we want to hear from you guys, and how you can do that is through Facebook comments and through the YouTube comments, which we've had some YouTube comments. We're going to get into that in a little bit because we're going to be talking about the INDYCAR series, and we were talking about INDYCAR on the ovals. So that's what's going to be the big difference with the ovals versus the street racing or road racing. This guy makes a great point. I'm going to bring it up because he made a comment on YouTube, and we grabbed it so we could talk about it here on the show. So that is coming up. But right now, I want to talk about what F1 was doing and their big announcement that they made with the FIA. They released a report into the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, finding race director Michael Masi acted in good faith. That's a quote, acted in good faith when trying to restart the race, but made a, quote, human error, end quote, in not allowing all cars to unlap themselves. Masi has been removed from the race director role as the FIA overhauls its race control structure. F1 sporting regulations have been recently updated to clarify that all, quote unquote, and not, quote unquote, any cars must be permitted to unlap themselves. In an attempt to draw the line under the controversy, the report also added the results of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and the FIA Formula One Championship are valid, final, and cannot be changed. That's right. There is something a little weird here, though, as things get a little weird. One aspect of the document did not mention with it, but confirmed to motorsport.com. You can go read that story. It's a link on our website, go RaceDayNation.com. By multiple sources, is that neither Masi nor deputy in Abu Dhabi, Scott Elkins, were actually interviewed as part of the investigation, which I find very odd. I don't know if that's true. And maybe, listen, they talked to him earlier and it wasn't actually part of the investigation. I don't know all the details on that, but a few sources are saying that those guys were not asked during the investigation. So I don't know if their accounts were all recorded earlier before the investigation, and the investigation and the investigators looked at that paperwork and read over it. I don't know how that works on the F1 side, but listen, there's some concern if those guys weren't asked about their opinion and what happened leading up to that decision that was made and the big error. Listen, mistakes are made every single day in racing. It's, you are going to have human error. That's just the way the sport is. And I kind of like it a little bit. It gives a little leeway if you need it, that kind of stuff. But, I know race fans get a little upset, but listen, they got rules and regulations. And when they went through it, they said, hey, he did make a mistake. He should have let all cars go through, not any, all cars must go through. And that's not what happened. And obviously the result was Hamilton was leading at the time and Max ended up with the championship. So listen, it is what it is. They made their statement. That's what they're going with, and they're sticking to their story. So that's what you get, my friends. Hey, real quick, did you guys see the 12 hours of Sebring? Great race there. Unfortunately, we couldn't have our buddy Ricky Taylor on the show. Usually when he comes on the show, the next day he wins, but unfortunately, we couldn't get him on the show, and he didn't win. He didn't even podium, which is very odd for Wayne Taylor Racing and Ricky Taylor and all those guys over there. I feel bad for them, but it's one of those things where, you know, they came out with that the BOP last week. We talked about it on the show, the balance of performance, and maybe that's what is affecting this, giving the Cadillacs a little more power. You know, I don't know what it was, but whatever it is, Cadillac has it right now. And they had all three of their DPIs on the podium. So congratulations to Cadillac and the win there. Also with GTD, you saw the Ricky brother, Jordan Taylor, winning there with his teammates in that number 3 Chevy Corvette. And then I think the Lamborghini was second. And I think it was the Mercedes AMG following up that on the podium there. So congratulations to everybody. Great 12-hour race. Some drama there in the middle. There was a lot of yellows. So it made for a little bit difficult race. Now, Wayne Taylor Racing was leading at that point. So I don't know if all that pit strategy during all that, you know, the heavy middle section of that race where it had a lot of the yellow flags come out affected them and their strategies. I don't know. We'll have to see if they can pick up the pieces at their next race. So we'll see. All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, though, we're going to be talking about the F1 race in Bahrain and what a great race, first of all, and a lot of drama. We're going to get into that next. So stick around. I'm Rob D'Amico. This is RaceDay Nation. Place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple to light, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. Welcome back. This is RaceDay Nation. I'm Rob D'Amico. Alongside, usually, I'm Michele Rahal, but unfortunately, his mother is not doing well. She has fallen ill, and our thoughts and prayers are with him. He asked for some time off, so we'll give him that space. And we were going to go live with the show this week, but unfortunately, this took place, and obviously, family is much more important. So we wish him all the best. We hope to see him back here soon. There's no doubt about that. You can look us up on the web, whether you want to listen to us or watch us. You can find all those links at racedaynation.com. You're also going to find links to some other podcasts in the world of racing, about 8 of them total. Plus, you're going to get news from Racer Magazine, motorsport.com, and tobychristie.com as well. Some great news and rumors there. Toby Christie is like, you know, everything you need to know about NASCAR. You're going to find it there. So I hope you feel like we cover everything here on this program, because we cover everything from NASCAR, IMSA, Formula One, INDYCAR, sports car racing. We love sports cars in general, exotic cars. We love talking about cars no matter what. Maybe not so much the electric ones, but maybe they'll grow on us one day. There's no doubt. All right, let's check in with the F1 race from Bahrain, and congratulations to Ferrari, first of all. 1 and 2 on the podium there. How cool is this, man? A lot of fun for these guys to be back on top, and I think a lot of fans are digging it too. You know, the crowd went crazy. I did, you know, when they saw the Red Bull car fall out there at the end, the crowd went nuts because Lewis Hamilton was now going to be on the 3rd spot on the podium, which he wasn't going to be if Red Bull finished the race, who had engine trouble literally on the last lap. So when I say drama, there was a ton of drama because Red Bull, the season opening favorites, no points whatsoever, not even their cars finishing the race, which kind of sucks for those guys. But hey, listen, it's going to make this season very interesting with Ferrari seeming to have some speed. Hamilton struggling a little bit, but still up there and still having some great points days. So let's take a look at your top 10 finishing. You had Charles Leclerc in a Ferrari, Carlos Sainz, excuse me, also in a Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, the third guy on the podium there with a Mercedes AMG. George Russell, Kevin Magnussen in Haas. That, my friends, is really cool to see. I was amazed to see Haas. Obviously, they didn't really put a lot of work into that car last year, and they struggled. And then taking the driver out this year because of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and then putting Kevin back in a car, back in F1 and being in that car. Ferrari put a lot of their momentum and build into this new car, and it's obviously paying off. What you can see here with Haas with a top 5 finish was awesome for those guys. Valtteri Bottas as well. He leaves Mercedes now at Alfa Romeo. You could see what these guys are able to do. His teammate finished 10th. So you can see what they're able to do. They're usually in that 10th area, but now with Bottas over there, a top 6, Ocon in the Alpine, congratulations to him as well. Yuki as well with the Alfa Ferrari, which was really cool. Fernando Alonso, all these guys with points. So what do the points look like? It looks just like they finished. You see the top guy gets 26 points. So Charles with the 26, Carlos with 18. The Ferrari guys leading the championship right now. We'll see how long that lasts. Again, this was pretty cool to see. The fans went nuts. Ferrari went nuts. These guys were just partying like they haven't been on the podium in forever. Well, it was kind of true. They haven't been. So it was nice to see these guys back on top. And I can't wait to see. I don't know if you watch Netflix and the Drive to Survive, but it's a great series, and it's going to be neat to see all this play out because they'll kind of recap last season and how they got into this season and what they're doing with this new car. It'll be neat to see this all play out on Drive to Survive. So you can check all that out on Netflix. That's where you're going to be able to see the show there. And I love it, man. I've been binging it. I have not been going through it like crazy. I don't want to go through it all and, I want to enjoy it. I think Michele actually watched the whole season in one stinking day. I don't know if I could do that. I do like to enjoy it. Come home from work, be able to sit on the couch, tune it on, watch an episode or two, and then, enjoy an adult beverage like everybody does here every now and then. It's nothing wrong with that. But again, it was nice to see these guys at Ferrari 1-2 on the podium. Congratulations. I think it's good for F1 to have a team like Ferrari up on top once again. All right. We were talking about the second story in our top 3 headlines this week, and one of them was Jackie Chan DC Racing to enter IMSA in 2023. So Jackie Chan DC Racing, having found success in sports car racing championships around the world, will launch an IMSA WeatherTech sports car championship program in 2023. The team has an 8-year track record of success in the WEC, ELMS, and ALMS, and at the 24 Hours of Le Mans that they're looking to extend into IMSA paddock as a full-time entry into the season. The team, headed by Chinese-American David Cheng, in the partnership with international star, actor, filmmaker, martial arts stuntman Jackie Chan, was first formed in 2015 and quickly found success. Jackie Chan DC Racing raced to a remarkable second place overall in the 2017 24 Hours of Le Mans, part of a dramatic 1-2 team LMP2 class finish. Congratulations to those guys. It was very impressive. The team has also staged campaigns in the Asian Le Mans Series, creating both an LMP2 and an LMP3 championship in 2018. So that's pretty neat to see these guys being able to go and now going to start a program in IMSA. This is what IMSA was trying to do when they changed their rules and regulations on how these cars can be. Now, Jackie Chan DC Racing can come over here and make a go at it with a full-time entry into the series, which I think is great. I love sports car racing. I love watching these cars. I'm not a huge fan. Listen, I've said this before. I'm not a huge fan of these prototypes and the LMP2 and LMP3. And I know they're big across the world and 24 hours Le Mans doing all this other stuff. I'm really into the GTD, the Pro and Am class, seeing real cars out on the track, everything from Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Alfa Romeo, Lexus, BMW, Porsche, just to name a few of these beautiful cars that I love seeing and love being able to drive every now and then, be on the track and racing. That's me. But that being said, I know where the big technology comes from, and it's from those LMP2, LMP3, DPI. Those classes really take the technology to the next level, and that's what ends up in our regular everyday cars, including those nice exotic and sports cars as well. So it is a necessary. I'm glad they're coming over. I can't wait to see what they're able to do with that, coming up in the near future with IMSA. All right, so we talked about a little bit of everything. I haven't hit Cup or IndyCar yet, and I want to do that because I do want to talk about the Cup race. We were talking about Atlanta Motor Speedway and how the track has changed, what looks different, what's different about the track. There's new characteristics. It used to be a track that you put on tires every chance you got. You go out and run a few laps. If the caution came out, guess what you were doing? You were coming in and getting tires. So now it changes a little bit. It's a little more slick. There are still some bumps, I will say that. The lanes have changed a little bit. The racing has definitely changed a little bit. And here is our race winner from this weekend, William Byron, talking about the different characteristics of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Certainly the bump off two was like kind of your lap counter because it was such a big bump that I felt like every time I got to that it was like, all right, there's another lap, and it was definitely kind of feel it in your back. But I'm sure they'll smooth that out, and the cars are, as we saw at California, bumps are difficult sometimes with quick jolts, but overall I think that was the only thing I saw that was kind of puzzling. But I think the rest of the track definitely did have some character that I was interested the way it worked out. The painted line definitely has a lot of grip. Not that you really need to use that, but certainly the way that the lanes work in the corner is kind of weird. There's kind of like a snake effect to the lanes, and it's not just a smooth, constant progression like it is at Daytona. So that's a little different. I don't know how that'll change as the years go.
It'll be interesting to see how it does once the track starts to wear out. Do they fix that bump? I don't know. Have they talked about it yet? I haven't heard anything, but I don't see them fixing anything. And it'll be neat to see once we come back here later on. There's been heat on the track. They've been racing some other series on there. Let's see what happens to the track and where it is when we come back here in the summer dates. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But again, congratulations goes out to William Byron for the win. So let's take a look at our top 10 finishers at Atlanta Motor Speedway, or what some are calling Atlanta Super Speedway. William Byron was your winner. Ross Chastain, this kid is on fire. I'm serious. Like, he is getting some great finishes. He's running up front. And we talk about this all the time, about this car being somewhat of an equalizer early in the season. I don't expect that later on in the season, but right now, doing a hell of a job equalizing some things out right now. Is it totally equal? No, not necessarily. Some of those small teams are still struggling, and the big teams, they have all the money, so they're finding a few things that are gaining some speed, more money. The faster you go, we all know how this works in racing, but I do expect over time that the bigger teams are running up front. And listen, Hendrick right now is running away with everything. Chevy is really on their game right now. Ford's struggling a little bit, but not as bad as Toyota. Toyota guys, those guys are struggling a bit. So I'm sure the Toyota guys are saying, hey, we got to figure some stuff out here. Let's get back to the drawing board, spend some money on this program and get it going here, because what Chevy's doing right now is making Ford and Toyota, not so much Ford as much as Toyota, looking bad right now. So again, I don't expect that to last either. Once everything starts to equal out on that end with the top teams finding different things in the speed, because listen, there are no secrets in the garage. You could try to keep secrets all day long. Somehow, some way, they're creeping out there. And and again, some of these cars were built earlier, so they would just want to get these cars back to the shop so they can keep doing it. They don't have the same cars back at the shop like they did last year, where you have a couple more being prepared for the next few races ahead. Not so much on some of these teams. They're bringing that same car back, fixing it up, doing the changes, finding the tweaks, and putting it back in the hauler and sending it out to the next track. So to continue on here, you had Ross Chastain, Kurt Busch, great run for him. Daniel Suarez, again, one of these teams, the Trackhouse team, doing a hell of a job. Top 5, Corey LaJoie. Seriously, man, this is one of these tracks that, again, like a Talladega, a super speedway of Daytona, where anybody can get up near the front and compete for a win. Chase Elliott was 6th, Chris Buescher 7th, Martin Truex Jr. 8th, 9th, Joey Logano 10th, Alex Bowman. These are some of the guys that are battling each and every week up at the front there, which is kind of neat. So what does this do for the points after this race at Atlanta? Well, Chase Elliott is your points leader right now with 171 points in a Chevy. Joey Logano in a Ford, back 7 points. Chase Briscoe in a Ford, back 15 points. William Byron, Chevy. Kurt Busch is in a Kurt is now in a Toyota. Ryan Blaney is in a Ford. 7th is Eric Almirola. 8th is Martin Truex Jr. Alex Bowman is 9th, and Ross Chastain is in that 10 spot right now. 10th in points with some of those big names, and I still can't believe what Trackhouse is able to do right now. And obviously they took over for a big team, right? They bought all the assets and components from Chip Ganassi Racing, and that takes a lot of money. And Justin Marks was able to put together, with Pip, I almost said Pit Boss. Pitbull was able to put him together and be able to raise money and get it to where they need it to be. But congratulations to those guys, because obviously it's paying off. And again, congratulations to William Byron for the win at Atlanta with the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. And I always like going to the media center when the Quick Trip guys are there, because they set it up like a convenience store in the media center, and you could just go up and take whatever you want for free. Soda, donuts, some pizza, a hot dog. You want to get off the roller, you could do some chips. It's all right there. You walk up. That's exactly what media guys don't need, because have you seen some of these media guys? They don't need a donut, and especially a free one. If you get my drift. So what did William Byron learn after this race?
Yeah, certainly a lot to learn this weekend. I think that, through all the things that we did to prepare, like nothing came close to what practice ended up being like. So I was shocked, how crazy it was, how big the runs were. My spotter, we talked overnight. It was like you couldn't talk fast enough to get all the things you needed to say. So I thought he really worked hard overnight and got a clear idea of kind of what needed to be said, so we could work on that. But we were not very good in practice. I felt like we were really tight and had some things that we had to work through. And Rudy and my engineers and all the guys on the car worked extremely hard to get it better. And today was awesome. Obviously, we led a bunch of laps. I felt like we had the best car. The way we could move through the field, and just awesome to win on kind of the inaugural race of Atlanta, in this style. So always cool to do something like that.
It's going to be neat to see what names they come up with Atlanta now, with a new track, the New Atlanta. They were calling it Atlanta Dega, some stuff like that. So it'll be neat to see what they end up Atlanta Super Speedway. It'll be kind of cool to see what names pop up in the next few weeks and when we head there during the summer. All right, we're going to take a break here. This is RaceDay Nation. I'm Rob D'Amico. Don't forget, you can follow us whether you want to listen to the program or watch it at racedaynation.com and get all the links there. Plus, we have links from Racer and motorsport.com and TobyChristie.com. Great website there in the realm of news and rumors for NASCAR, XFINITY, and the Truck Series. It's pretty cool. It's all right there. Again, RaceDay Nation. You can follow me at RaceDay Nation, also at Rob D'Amico, ROBDAMICO. When we come back, though, we're going to be talking with Rick Hendrick about street racing, about Jimmie Johnson. We're going to recap the IndyCar race from Texas. Still a lot to come on this program, plus a response from a listener. And again, you can do this by going to YouTube or Facebook and writing in the comment section below the videos. You can do that, and we'll use them here on the show. We will be going live here on the program, but Michele, obviously, emergency with his mother, so he is out. He asked for some time. Thoughts and prayers are with him, but we will be going live with this show to interact with you guys. But for right now, you can do so with YouTube and Facebook comment section. So all that coming up in the next segment. Stick around. I'm Rob D'Amico, and this is RaceDay Nation. Place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple to light, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. Welcome back to RaceDay Nation. I'm Rob D'Amico, and you got to realize how cool it is to buy a Big Green Egg online. They never did that before. It was always you had to go to an authorized dealer, and you still can do that. If you want to shop in your local community, what's cool about the Big Green Egg is you can buy a Big Green Egg online from your house and literally have it delivered to your house from a local a dealer in your community. It's really cool. They kept it local. It's really neat. Please check them out. Go to biggreenegg.com, find the ultimate cooking experience, great recipes, tips on there. Plus, we do a podcast on there as well. You could check that out. It's called Cooks and Cars, which I love doing that one as well. So please check that out. Go to biggreenegg.com. All right, now it's time. We recap the Cup Series race in our last segment. We were talking about Rick Hendrick. One of the big things that we talked about with Rick earlier in the show in the top three headlines was NASCAR and Rick Hendrick Motorsports have announced their intention to compete in the 2023 24-hour Le Mans in the special Garage 56 entry. Nearly half a century after Bill France Sr. first took stock cars to the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans, the entry will be modified version of the next-gen Camaro, the Chevy Camaro, the ZL1, the race car. That'll be the one they collab with NASCAR, Hendrick Motorsports, Chevy, IMSA, and Goodyear. Further details include technical elements of the car and the team's driver lineup, which I have a few people in mind I'd love to put in that car. And one of them, you talk about a road racing kind of guy. How about a guy like Chase Elliott? I mean, even Kyle Larson. Take some of these guys and take them over there. How cool would that be to have guys like that racing in the 24 Hours Le Mans? I think it will be great. 7-time champion crew chief, that's right, Chad Knaus, will serve as the Garage 56 program manager. So what is Garage 56? Well, it was introduced in 2012 as a special single entry class reserved for innovative cars. It allows for the testing of new technologies and fostering creativity and innovation without taking a grid spot from another car in the traditional starting grid. So personally, I think this is great. Congratulations to Rick Hendrick. Putting this all together with NASCAR, IMSA, Goodyear, a few of these other guys. I think Dallara's in there as well. And some more technical alliances, if you will take up the team here put together and being able to take this car. It'll look like the Chevy Camaro in NASCAR. I'm sure it'll be a little bit different because of the technology and the setup of the car for the 24 hours and all that. I have a feeling of mine. They're kind of taking the Corvette, maybe the I don't want to say the chassis. They taken that chassis and kind of putting the body of a Camaro on it, maybe to help it. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's what I can see getting them there the fastest is they kind of have this chassis built with the Corvette. Maybe they're building it off of that, changing specs a little bit and being able to do that. So pretty neat. But Rick Hendrick, congratulations to you, the guys, NASCAR, IMSA. I think that is great to see that they're going to be doing all this in the future. Something after the race at Atlanta that Rick Hendrick said when William Byron was in there, they always have the owner of the team come in and talk and do all that. Well, he had made mention about street racing in NASCAR. I love this idea. You know what they've done with the Coliseum? They've done dirt racing at Bristol. They've repaved this 1.5-mile track at Atlanta. They're doing different things that are really paying off, and the fans are loving it. So here's Rick Hendrick talking about a street race, which Michele and I have talked about back in the race day on Fox days. Here he is for the media.
Well, I think it's great for NASCAR. I mean, the stadium brought a lot of new fans in. The dirt track, I've got people coming out of the woodwork wanting to go to Bristol now for that race. And I think it's exciting for the fans, and the drivers are adapting well. And this car, we basically run the same car everywhere. And so I think it's great for the sport, and I'd like to see a street race. So hopefully we'll just continue to work outside the box, and I think that's drawing a lot of new fans for us.
I agree. Think outside the box on this a little bit, NASCAR. Come up with a way you can get these cars on the street. Man, I'd love, and I know they already have the fairgrounds there and the Nashville Speedway, but I love if there was any way, not in that configuration they have now for the street race, but how about Nashville with the street race with these cars? Oh, man, that would be cool to see. There are plenty of cities that would love to have this as well, but you really have to find out what works best. And maybe even going, I know Homestead Miami Speedway's down there, and they put on a great show at the racetrack. But what if they raced on the same track that Miami GP and F1's going to use? Maybe there's a way to make that work. There's so many things that we can possibly do with street racing and NASCAR, and I think it would be awesome. And I think the fans, how about going to Mexico and doing a street race down there with the NASCAR Cup Series? I know they have a Mexico Series as well, but the crossover and what they can do, it's like what F1's doing with the U.S. market right now with the COTA and the Miami GP, and they're trying to bring Vegas into this and do some other things. It'd be kind of cool to see. That's all I'm saying with NASCAR and street racing. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the race at Texas Motor Speedway with INDYCAR. Congratulations, and I don't know if you saw this race, but Scott McLaughlin was leading this thing, was going to get his first oval win. And on the last lap, the last corner, his teammate, Joseph Newgarden, comes around. Lap traffic came into play at the worst time for Scott McLaughlin, but the best time for Joseph Newgarden. And Joseph Newgarden gets the win, gets to go to victory lane, gets to shoot off the guns. I mean, what a great finish to the race. The race was okay. I'm not, like I've said on the show before, I'm not a huge IndyCar oval guy, and that was for another show. And we have a response from that. And you can always respond through our YouTube channel and Facebook on the comments section. And we'll use them here on the show. I got one coming up because one of the comments we were talking about oval racing and IndyCar. Should they be doing these ovals? Yes, at Indy, at the 500, no problem with that one. But Texas, Iowa, God, it makes me cringe a little bit. I'm not sure. But listen, this guy makes a great point. I wish Michele was here to talk about it, but I'm going to bring it up here in a second. Let me get back to the top 10. So it was Joseph Newgarden, teammate Scott McLaughlin second, Marcus Ericsson, Will Power, Scott Dixon, and get this, that's right, Jimmie Johnson, his best finish in IndyCar of 6th. We're going to talk about that because even Rick Hendrick said something at the NASCAR race after the post-race interview. He was asked about it. But Alex Palou was 2nd. 8th was Simon Pagenaud. Santino Ferrucci was 9th. And Renus VK rounds out your top 10 at the race at Texas Motor Speedway. And again, congratulations to Joseph Newgarden beating his teammate Scott McLaughlin, who was leading here, and he led like 180 some laps of this race. It was unbelievable. Bad luck, though, for a guy, if your name was Graham Rahal. Unfortunately, He qualified last and then crashed out with Elio Castroneves. So a very unfortunate day for him. I felt bad for him. He just looks down. He's like, come on, what do I got to do here? Right. You know what I'm saying? But again, it just shows you have these ups and downs in racing. It happens all the time. But the big up here is Jimmie Johnson getting a 6th place finish on an oval. This is a guy, he's not the road racer out of his, I don't know, his 80 some wins in NASCAR, right? One of them is on a road course. And it was probably some pitch strategy that got him out front late in the race because he's not a great road racer. And that shows here in a series with world-class drivers being able to do what they do best in these types of cars on road races, on street courses. But Jimmie Johnson on an oval, he's got some experience there, and it showed. And I was glad to see that because I was starting to question if this really made sense for Jimmie Johnson. But here he is on track, crossing the line, 6th place. Congratulations to Jimmie Johnson. And I love this when he was getting interviewed. He's got this look on his face like, I finished 6th. I just love this look. But hey, congratulations to him. And we also have a great clip from Rick Hendrick, his team owner from when he won those 7 NASCAR championships, talking about Jimmie Johnson's finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway after the race, after winning with William Byron. Check.
Jimmie got on the oval, he would be more competitive. So I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of Jimmie for jumping into a sport and trying to relearn against all these guys or learn the sport. But I felt like when they got to ovals, he was going to be good.
Well, he did good. Congratulations to him. Jimmie Johnson, 6th place. It was great to see. I love seeing that kind of stuff. I love when drivers cross over and do different series and they have success, because back in the day, it was so cool to watch AJ Foyt, some of these guys, Mario Andretti, go do this. And I just love seeing this stuff. But congratulations. Listen, I know it's not a championship and it wasn't a win, but hey, listen, it's good for all sports. Yeah, it's like all the, ships rise, everything's good. Yes, we got that going on right now in all forms of racing. Ferrari's back on top. Great racing going on in NASCAR. The fans are back in NASCAR. IndyCar off to a great start. Now, I will say the crowd at Texas wasn't as big as I thought it would be. But listen, IndyCar is on it, and they got some good things going on with some great drivers over there. So I love the Scott McLaughlin story. I'm going to keep my eye on that. We talked about this on a past show. You can go back. I think it was the last show, as a matter of fact. You can go back and watch it. We talked about, should ovals be in IndyCar besides the Indy 500, Iowa? You're going to, I think, Worldwide Technology, Texas. But Indy, yes. So I'm still not I'm not really sold on Iowa, to be honest with you. It's like watching, you ever gone to the fair and seen those guys, the motorcycle guys in the cage ball? That's what it seems like for me with IndyCar at a place like Iowa. And I feel bad for saying that, because I know I mentioned a couple shows ago that Hy-Vee, the supermarkets chain stores, are kind of doing a big deal there, some concerts. It's a double header. And I love seeing sponsors get involved. Iowa is just one of those places. I don't know if I would take IndyCar, but hey, listen, I don't run the series, and there's a lot more people smarter than I am. And I mean that, a lot more people smarter than I am. I can dig on myself when Michele's not here. Okay. That's what I do best as well. But we did have a comment, and I do want to put this response up there. It was from Nifty52. Quote, if you take the ovals out of IndyCar, then IndyCar stops being the top level of its category and instead becomes a feeder series for F1 like Super Formula in Japan. And I got to be honest with you, it made sense when he said that, hey, listen, there's ovals here because it creates its own category. And now they're the top dog in that category because no one else in any other series will do the ovals, the street courses, the road courses, things like that. And that's what makes this series great. So that being said, I do like seeing the ovals take place in IndyCar. I'm just having a hard time with Iowa and some of those smaller tracks where I'm like, oh, gosh, I just don't know if it belongs on the circuit. How about doing something like this where you take a Texas 1.5 miles and you use part of the oval and part of the infield like they do with the Roval at Charlotte for the NASCAR guys. Now, you're not going to get down to those speeds, but, a little, just like a little bus stop area or a kink or something like that, that they can scrub a little speed off and use a left-right kind of feel on the setup of the car. That's all I'm asking. That's it. But Iowa seems to me like it's the old motorcycles in the round cage at the fair. That's all. All right, I'm Rob D'Amico. Don't forget, you can check us out on the web, RaceDayNation.com. Follow us on social media, RaceDay Nation. Also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that great stuff, at Rob D'Amico, ROBDAMICO. Wishing Michele, his mom, everybody, they're all in our thoughts and prayers this week. So please, if you believe in that stuff, you want to do it. If you don't, just send them great thoughts. We appreciate it because unfortunately was unable to come on the show. His mom's not doing well, and we wish them the very best. Seriously, no matter what, that's one thing. Family is the most important. There's no doubt about that. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. You can do either of those on our website, RaceDayNation.com. You can hear my phone blowing up here. I don't know who that is, but I'll get to it here in a second. And also, our website's got great news and rumors from great websites like Racer Magazine, Motorsport.com, and even Toby Christie. Great news and rumors there in the world of NASCAR. So we got you covered no matter what. I'll see you next week. I'm Rob D'Amico. This has been Race Day Nation. Thank you for watching.